I moved to Brookstone Ridge about a year ago, thinking it would be the perfect place to escape the chaos of the city. I'm in my mid-30s, work as a software developer, and with my remote job, I thought it'd be great to find a quiet neighborhood with friendly neighbors and a little peace. Brookstone Ridge fit the bill-manicured lawns, homes that looked like they were straight out of a real estate magazine, and, most importantly, strict rules that would keep everything in check. Or so I thought. At first, everything was perfect. I spent my weekends setting up my new place, planting flowers, fixing up the front yard, and just settling in. I even posted a few pictures of my progress in the community Facebook group, something casual. A before and after of my yard cleanup. The yard had been an overgrown mess, and now it was neat, trimmed, and welcoming. I posted a simple caption, finally settling in and love-wying this place. I didn't think much of it. I mean, it was just a few pictures, right? But that simple post, it caused a storm. The next thing I knew, I had 89 likes and 23 comments in just a few hours. People I had never met were welcoming me to the neighborhood, offering tips and even lending me equipment. It felt good. For once, I felt like I really belonged somewhere. Until I realized that across the street, my neighbor Paula Hensley was not as thrilled as I was. Paula, let me tell you, Paula was not your average neighbor. Paula was the queen of the neighborhood HOA group. I'd heard about her before people warned me about her when I first moved in. She was the compliance officer, and she took that title a little too seriously. From what I could gather, she lived alone in the biggest house on Maple Street. Her house, her car, her lawn, they were all perfect. She had an almost obsessive need for things to be just right. And if they weren't, well, Paula would be there with her passive-aggressive reminders. After my post, I noticed something strange. Paula started to take more of an interest I hadn't asked for. She'd send me messages about my yard, about the placement of my trash cans, about whether or not my mailbox was in line with neighborhood standards. I brushed it off at first, just a little nitpicking, right? Wrong. The first incident happened about a week after my post. I was in the kitchen, making my morning coffee when I heard the unmistakable sound of my trash bin being knocked over. I rushed outside and saw Paula's gray SUV rolling to a stop about 20 feet away from my yard, the garbage scattered all over the street. She rolled down her window and casually said, "Sorry about that. Maybe next time place your bin further from the curb." I was confused at first, but I just nodded, apologized, and started picking up the mess. I thought it was a mistake. I was wrong. By the time I had picked up the trash and gone inside, I realized something. Paula's SUV was parked perfectly right in front of my bin. It wasn't an accident. It was deliberate. The next incident happened just 3 days later. Same time, same place. I was watching from the window when I saw Paula's car slowly approach my trash bin. This time, instead of driving normally, she swerved directly toward my bin and hit it with enough force to send it rolling down the street. She did it on purpose. No question. She got out, took photos of the mess she had just caused, and then turned to me with a fake expression of concern. "This is really becoming a problem," she said. "You're creating a safety hazard with these bins. Maybe you should look at the HOA guidelines." I stood there in disbelief. The HOA guidelines? I had placed my bin exactly 18 inches from the curb, as required. I wasn't in the wrong here. But Paula, she didn't care. She was using my trash bins for content. I realized then that Paula wasn't just causing trouble, she was farming my misery for her own social media validation. That evening, I told Frank, my next-door neighbor, what had happened. Frank was a retired accountant, a funny guy with a dry sense of humor and an impressive security system that covered his entire property. Frank had always been a bit of a neighborhood watch guy, and he knew all about Paula's obsession with policing the neighborhood. He had warned me about her before. "She's been at this for years," Frank told me, hoping someone would notice her. "You just got more likes than she's gotten in 6 months, and she doesn't like it." I laughed it off, but deep down, I knew something was up. The third incident came exactly a week later. This time I was ready. I had my camera set up, filming the whole thing from my living room. Paula's SUV slowly approached my trash bin. She swerved to hit it again, and this time, it bounced off a parked car and ended up in Mrs. Rodriguez's flower bed. It was like watching a scene from a movie. Paula got out of her car, took her phone out, and started taking pictures of the destruction, as if it were a crime scene. When I walked out to confront her, she waved and said, "Looks like we need to talk about trash bin placement at the next HOA meeting." By now, I had had enough. I wasn't going to let this go. So I did what any frustrated guy would do. I turned the tables on her. With Frank's help, we documented everything. We had security footage, we had screenshots of Paula's social media posts, and we had proof that she was deliberately hitting my trash bins. I posted a video showing Paula's bad driving skills, how she constantly took up 2 parking spaces and blocked fire hydrants. I made it lighthearted, just observational humor about the challenges of suburban driving. The community ate it up. The reaction to my video was swift. Within hours, it had over 40 likes and a ton of comments. People were laughing, sharing their own parking woes. And Paula? Well, she didn't take it well. The next morning, she posted an angry message about harassment and invasion of privacy, claiming that I was targeting her. But no one was buying it. Her post only got 8 likes. Then, I started a Neighbor Spotlight series. I highlighted people in the neighborhood doing good things, Mrs. Rodriguez's beautiful garden, Frank's work with the Neighborhood Watch, and even the Thompsons for their amazing holiday decorations. These posts received tons of support from the community. Paula, on the other hand, started to fade into the background. She tried posting about community excellence, but her posts received no engagement. Her empire was crumbling, and she didn't even see it coming. And then, the final straw came. Paula staged a safety inspection at my house, complete with a reflective vest, safety glasses, and a clipboard. She went so far as to measure my trash bin area and declare it a hazard zone. She even tried filming kids playing in my yard to make her case stronger. But things didn't go as planned. Mrs. Chin, a neighbor, came out and confronted Paula for filming her son, Tommy. "Delete that footage," she said. "You're harassing my child." Paula was becoming more and more unhinged, and the community was finally starting to see through her facade. The next day, Paula decided to go nuclear. She announced a community safety committee and declared that she was going to inspect every property in the neighborhood. But this time, she didn't have the support she needed. Carol Jenkins, who had once been her ally, stopped backing her up. Neighbors were starting to gather evidence against her. Then came the day that really sealed Paula's fate. During one of her inspections, she hit my trash bin so hard that it dented my car. When she tried to explain it away, neighbors had already started taking videos. She had gone too far. In the end, it was Frank's security footage that did the trick. The community saw what she had done, how she had deliberately damaged my property and used the community for her own selfish gain. The HOA had no choice but to remove her from her position as compliance officer. Paula's reign was over. She left the neighborhood, but not before having one last meltdown. The irony? She had spent months accusing me of destroying property when she had been doing it herself all along. She had spent so much energy trying to control the narrative, but in the end, she couldn't keep up. So, to all of you who are watching this and thinking about your own HOA troubles, what would you do if you were in my shoes? How far would you go to stand up to someone like Paula? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's talk about what happens when the person trying to enforce community standards becomes the biggest problem in the neighborhood.